Hello, everyone. Always like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening all over the world. I hope everybody's treating you well. My son came into town the other day and we took a trip over to the zoo. We went to a nice Mexican restaurant for lunch. We had a really nice day. It was wonderful. I've been enjoying having the grandkids here. Hey, Jim Richter, you're actually early this time. You usually show up in the last 5 minutes. So anyways, it was a fantastic day. I love seeing the grandkids. They're wonderful. DW, parabuilding. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look. I just released I know parabuilding was there. I released a video maybe an hour or so ago about our progress we have year to date so far, especially with the royalty companies. OatMMC's in the house. So it's really fantastic seeing the performance we have. I mean, think about it. We're at the end of July, August, September, October, November, December. We still got 5 months left, and we're at 40% return on these portfolios, almost all of them. Mr. Action is here. So right now, I mean, I have great hopes how things are going. It's hard to see anything turning around right now when you see the condition the world is in. I'm going to have to start doing some more, prepping videos, because I honestly believe you ought to be prepping more now than ever, because even if you are doing really well with your miners and precious metals, some of the things that you're maybe used to getting may not be available, no matter how much money you got. So make sure that you're still working that side of it. By the way, I found my pyramid and I put it in the community tab, kind of highlighting this live stream. I couldn't figure out where I'd put that at before. So if you get a chance, look at that, because that'll tell you how to build a fairly, well, let's just say a comprehensive portfolio, something that I call it like an all-weather portfolio. You'll do well no matter what happens in the markets if you kind of follow that thought process instead of just piling all into micro miners and things like that. So right now I'm trying to squeeze in a live stream because my son and his wife and grandkids are off at the grandparents' house, and who knows, they may show up anytime here. Oh, a freeze dryer. God dang, those things are expensive. I'll probably do another video about using my dry nitrogen storage for like beans and rice. I got to do a bunch more using the Mylar bags and food grade buckets. Safa Stacker is in the house. I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that. It's this late in the evening thing. Excellent. I really need to get one of those vacuum sealer things. That's one of the things that I don't have. I need to get a vacuum sealer. Oh yeah, because I can't talk straight. It's not a tumor. Just certain things you try to say it a bunch of times. Safa stackers. I don't know what it is. Trying to say that quick, I can't do it. So quite a week, huh? Can you believe the metals, what they did this week? Yeah, I know. Can you believe I've been China has not had any of their mainstream media really talking about the flooding. And so there's a whole bunch of individuals that have been posting videos so everybody can see what's really happening. That is a disaster over there. About the worst I've seen. They said it's like, once in 100 years type thing. Well, you should feel a lot better in the last week or two with silver. It's finally doing something. It's been sitting on the side for so long, unloved. I hope it holds up for you. That's why I've always done I call it a smart allocation, because I studied the performance of these metals. And so my whole idea is to get the best average performance of a number of things, kind of like the way ETFs do it, but it's a smart, calculated approach for how to get the best performance. And it's using the volatility quotient. When you look at that pyramid, you'll see why I did what I did, because I have the volatility quotient listed on the side. Like silver's like 14.5 and gold and platinum's like 9% for volatility. So you want to map volatility and return and compare it to other things. And it just so happens like gold has a high return and low volatility, where silver has like an average return and a high volatility, which means you don't want to hold a whole lot of that. Yeah, silver, I tell you, that's another thing. So many people were buying other things, but I tell you, if you stick with the Eagles, that's like the most liquid thing you can buy. Yeah, I call it you're investing with gold and you're trading with silver. But yeah, it's a little bit of a gambling when you're trading. It may be, gold is a 20-year hold where silver might be a 5-year or something. Yeah, it's okay. It's keep in mind, silver is I don't know that I would say it's taken off, because it's still only back to like 2013 levels. But and we don't know. Every time it's kind of run up like this, it usually slumps back down. So this is all related to the economy. If the economy is not really going to do what they think it's going to do, you might see silver slump back down again. It's hard for those that have invested in silver to understand the fact that silver is only, say, 20 to 30% money, and it's 70 to 80% industrial, where gold is like 90% money. Yeah, the Sprott Physical Silver Trust, I haven't studied that in a while. A lot of those, I went and looked at all the different ETFs, and it wasn't one of the higher level ones. But, I kind of recommend, unless your money's just tied up in a 401k, you try to get physicals in your hand as much as you can. Because then there's just no chance of somebody screwing you in the back end unless you get some fraudulent stuff. But if you buy sealed US Mint stuff, it's unlikely you're going to get screwed. Yeah, it would have been nice, those 6 monster boxes, if I would have sold those now, but that's okay. I moved it into gold, quite a bit of it. Think how much gold has gone up since I sold those things. It's amazing this year how much gold's gone up. No, I was happy to unload the silver, and it's again because of, remember the trouble I had trying to sell those monster boxes? What was it, 6 or 7 boxes? The doggone things are too heavy and it costs so much. I was just lucky as heck that I was able to transfer it within the same depository. So silver is really a significant problem because of the weight. It's much better to hold gold, even though and keep in mind, everybody's like, they're thinking they're going to make a killing with silver, but you spend so much more premium getting it. And then you got conversion costs, where if you just stick in gold, you're only like 3.5% for premiums, and you're not trading, so you don't have any, taxes or other costs that come into play. See, I'm not really concerned about what I did. And it's like I said, it's just because it's difficult to unload silver. That's the problem most people have. Now, if you're not trading in monster boxes, it's not as big a deal for you. But I mean, a monster box is like 50 pounds of shipping weight. That's difficult. And it's a pain in the butt storing. It takes up a heck of a lot of space. But keep in mind, I'm still holding silver. I got quite a bit of silver. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Yep, well, we're 40% return on miners. What was, I forget what year to date, what gold and silver is so far. Was it like 26% or something? I think I looked at that the other day. Problem is I deal with so many numbers, I can't remember all of them. I get them mixed up in my head. Yeah, actually, those meat chickens, I did them about a month ago. They only take 2 months. By the way, I want to show you something because I forgot to put it in the video the other day. How many of you have a Samsung phone? I don't know if this is going to focus. There's this thing called Samsung Health. It's a little app right here. When I click on that, then it brings up all kinds of things in here that you can enter, like how many calories you ate during the day. If you click this health thing right here, let me do this. It's a stress thing. I'm going to show you this where you click that. But on the back of the phone, these newer phones, they have these sensors right here. These two things are sensors right next to where the camera port is. And that'll measure your oxygen level and your pulse rate. I don't know how it works, why it does that. It's pretty fancy stuff. But anyways, it starts measuring. And what I'll do is I'll put my finger on here and you'll see how it works. But you notice how it's got the heart rate. And then you're supposed to do this when you're nice and calm, not talking or anything. You're relaxed, breathing properly, all that kind of stuff. But down at the bottom, it shows the heart rate, and it's going to give me a reading for my stress here in a second. All right. Yeah, it's running a little high because I'm not in a proper position, and even my heart rate's up and oxygen's fine, 97%, but it's because I'm doing this show. But anyways, I'm in the green, and when I'm in the proper position, mine is bottomed out to 0. But I've used this to diagnose several problems. In fact, I was able to figure out my gallbladder because I had resolved a number of other issues and I was still having trouble. And so I went to the doctor and I said, look, I notice when I eat certain things, there's times I cannot sleep. I don't feel like I'm having any pain. I don't really have indigestion, but something is affecting me. And I noticed it's when I eat like oily foods. And so everything that I read, it looks like I could have a screwed up gallbladder. He goes, wow, that's amazing. I'd never seen that thing on the phone. There's a test we can do where they hook you up to, I think it's like an X-ray machine that takes pictures every once in a while. And they inject some dye in you, and then they can see when the gallbladder's releasing the bile, I guess what it is. And then what they do, they have you drink one of these, I can't think what they're called. They're like a milkshake thing that you insure or something, but it's got a lot of fat and everything in it. And then they watch how the gallbladder reacts. And after the test, they said, yeah, your gallbladder is basically dead. So when they removed the gallbladder, this is like a real simple procedure or whatever. I said, hey, give me my phone right when I was in the recovery room. And I ran that thing even after having surgery. And I'm telling you, I was at 0 where I had been in that orange yellow area for years. And I just thought there was something wrong with me. My wife was always way down to 0, but I had been carrying that problem for years. And ever since that time, I'd been to 0 till I had the problems in the last couple months. And so I was really elevated. But now, because I did that God cure that I told you guys about, you know, with the prayer and fasting and spiritual reading and, you know, Christian music, it's all the way back down to 0 again. So make sure that, you know, a lot of times we don't feel things that are right with us, but you can use, I call it like instrumentation, to check your health, right? It's a very simple way to kind of determine if something's gone wrong with you. So I've been happy about that. It really gives you a good feeling that, you know, you've done all the right things and now you're on track and back. I'm telling you, my energy level is unbelievable, but I haven't been doing any strenuous physical stuff yet because I still have like 4 or 5 days left of this fasting. And obviously if you don't have, you know, plenty of calories, you can't be out there chopping wood and everything else right now, but I'm trying to get through this spiritual journey that I started. And I mean, I can just tell when I'm talking to you guys that I feel way better than I used to. I don't have this fog in my head and everything else. Yeah, that's it, the fluoro. Yep. But anyways, if you're having trouble sleeping, it could be medical, not a mental type things, because this was something I struggled with for years. It just, your body couldn't figure out how to digest something because it couldn't get the right enzymes and everything where it needed to be. So your body was like, I don't know what to do with this stuff. But it was weird. It wasn't like I was having any pain, but it showed up on this thing as a high stress indicator. So now that I don't have a gallbladder, I got to be real careful what I eat because it'll really mess me up not having any, you know, injection. So think about that. There's little things like this that have come out now, but let me show you or talk about the rest of the things in here because it's quite impressive. So you can put in, like, it'll keep track. It's got like I think you call it a pedometer, you know, so it keeps track of how many steps you've had, and it'll kind of calculate roughly how many calories you've done, how many miles you've walked. You can enter your food so that you can get a rough estimate of calories that you ate. You can put in how long you slept and the quality of your sleep, put in your weight, and then even how much water you're drinking. And there's even more things, but those are the kind of things that I periodically have entered in. I just eat a lot of vegetables now. I mean, I can eat kind of like any kind of meat, but I need to stay away from super fatty stuff. Like sometimes the more fatty pork stuff doesn't do well with me. I can't eat a lot of fried foods, especially if it's got breading. I can't eat it. Anybody ever had ossobuco, I think it's called, where it's like a pork shank, a smaller one that I think they cook it in an oven for a long time and then they finish it up by putting it into a deep fryer. And you usually get like some mashed potatoes, corn, and that kind of stuff. It's like, that was always one of my favorites, but it was kind of greasy. I don't even know a restaurant around here that has that. There were a couple places in town I used to get it in Florida. Man, I baked some rabbit the other day. That came out fantastic. I got this lemon pepper seasoning where earlier in the day I had thawed out 2 rabbits that was all cut up. And so then I seasoned the rabbits and I had them in these like baking pans. You just put aluminum foil on them and you stick it in the oven for 350 for maybe an hour. I think that's all it took. And the stuff comes out just so tender. It's unbelievable how good that rabbit was. And I had some of my pole beans from the garden, and I took a can of tomato paste and cut up an onion, kind of sauteed the onions first and then put it all together. Normally I do some bacon and everything. I just didn't have enough time, but man, that's some fantastic green beans doing it that way. Actually, when I looked at gold, it's at like 1902. I looked at that before I did that last video, and silver is at 2270 something. Can of beans and ramen noodles. Yeah, I always used to eat those ramen noodles, but again, I think it's all flour, so I can't eat any of that anymore. So are any even open? What specifically are you saying is what's open? You didn't spell that out, and it must have been something I talked about a few minutes ago, and I don't know. OatMMC, tell me what you're talking about. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of green beans. I've got a whole bunch of corn down there. I've got all kinds of things that I've canned up, like chili and soups and stews and everything. And they're just ready to eat meals. So you can just dump it in a bowl, throw it in a microwave, and you're good to go. And they're all quart size. Yeah, I did a quart of green beans, but I had, my son and his wife and 2 kids, and we destroyed that whole batch. So I should have done like a double because I like leftovers. Oh, I forgot I put mushrooms in there also. So that didn't that didn't go very far. I mean, a quart is like 2 cans of green beans, but I guess I needed to do like 4. Oh, restaurants. We actually have a lot of restaurants open here. They're just half capacity. So if you want to eat, you kind of got to get there early. So like for lunch, I don't go to any of them on Friday because there's so many people there. I try to go, earlier in the week. Even Thursday is fine. Yeah, I actually had to stop tea. That was one of my problems. I was drinking a lot of, even though it was weak caffeinated tea, I was drinking too much. So I'm completely decaffeinated now and I'm drinking water. I eat a lot of fruit too. But right now it's primarily, vegetables. I'm trying to avoid carbs because I'm trying to get down to the weight that I want. So food prices. So here's the thing. It's like we're pretty self-sufficient here, except for, let's say, fruits. So when I go to the store, it's like buying some, gallon of milk and a bunch of fruits because we have all of our meats. Now, occasionally, I'll pick up, steaks have gone up a lot over the last year. Occasionally, I'll pick up some pork, but we really don't have a lot of need for anything. So I haven't even been to the store, like I said, except for just some, go get some bananas and grapes or something. So truthfully, I'm not a good judge for prices right now. Yeah, the prepper closet is the way to go. I've got so much canned stuff down there. I need to rotate through right now. I need to eat it up and start making some fresh stuff to put in place. So I got to work through that. Unfortunately, these jars, depending on what you put down there, the soups and stews and stuff, you probably could get 4 or 5 years. So after a couple of years, you need to start burning through it and then, get some fresh stuff put in place. That's what we need to do. God, it's so nice when you do these really home cooked meals and you can them. I don't know, any of y'all ever had that opportunity, because it's just like you cooked it that day when you open these mason jars. It's amazing how good they are. My garden is now producing bell peppers, jalapenos, green beans. I've already got a bunch of carrots that I had, canned up, and I have some in the refrigerator too. So I actually have pretty much all my vegetables to start canning some things now. Yeah, I think food inflation is going to be a major problem, and that's what's going to shock everybody to their core. I mean, the government's trying to give everybody some money, but I think a lot of it's just being wasted. Tinfoil hat is in the house. All my freezers are full right now, absolutely full of all the meat. So I don't even need to do any chickens again until probably next spring. Yeah, be careful with commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is in big trouble. Yeah, my garden, I need to actually spend a lot of time tomorrow doing a bunch of weeding and a little bit of fertilizing. I already pulled some what's that black fruit called? Oh, eggplant. I pulled some eggplant off the other day. I got to go get some more squash. I got to show you guys something. Hold on a second. This is my zucchini. This is incredible. I've never seen, zucchini this big. These are monsters. And then this is my butternut squash. I've already, eaten like 5 or 6 of these, and I got tons of those down there. Now I'm still fasting. I'm doing the kind of the vegetable thing, so that's why I'm trying to show you some of the things. But I mean, these are things that are just as good as what comes out of the store. There's a recipe my daughter-in-law has recommended for the eggplant. She said you need to make you kind of cut them into like pickle spears, and then you bake them in the oven, and then you finish them off under the broiler, and then you take spaghetti sauce and you pour it over it, so it makes it kind of like eggplant parmesan. Ever had that? Even though those are normally cut into like potato chip strips, but I'm going to try that zucchini spaghetti stuff probably next week. So anyways, the garden is, I pulled a ton of tomatoes out. We had several bowls with, and we're just eating them. They're all different sizes. I got like cherry tomatoes, and I've got, tomatoes that are like that big, and then the other ones that are like that big. So I got a whole bunch of stuff. I've got a bunch of pumpkin type things out there that I need to pull up too. I ended up with pumpkins like that big. They're now turned orange. Yeah, I didn't really eat dinner tonight. I decided to just get a bowl of cereal, and it's come out really well. But anyways, we're doing really good here. I've been pulling green beans off like you wouldn't believe. I need to get out there and spray my green beans because I'm still getting some infestation of those Japanese beetles. So I've got to hit it with some spray. We're getting into kind of like a rainy week, so it doesn't make sense sometimes to spray when it's doing that. But right now it's eating the crap out of the tops of the plants for some reason. Yeah, I'll show you some of the peppers and everything when they come out. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to convert myself to where, I mean, we used to eat a lot of meat, so I'm cutting back on the meat and I'm going to do a lot more vegetables as we've, the garden is producing. That's what I want to eat. We used to make, I would argue, our meal was 25% vegetables, and I'm going to switch it now to make it 75% vegetables, 25% meat. If you think about it, the meat is so doggone expensive to grow. It's like you shouldn't make that the biggest part of your meal. So, and I'd still argue one of my most favorite meals is chicken hearts and gizzards. Gosh, I love that more than anything. I can make a soup out of that any day, and that's like one of my favorites. It's probably grossing people out, but it's great. Got to try it. Anyways, I just wanted to get like a 30-minute live stream in because I just got a video out a little bit earlier. Like I said, I'm expecting my son to come back anytime here. So I hope everybody's treating you well. I hope you're doing well. Do the best you can. God bless.